Everybody, what is going on? The catch fam. I hope you guys are doing phenomenal tonight, man. Hope you guys have all had a great Friday. I hope you guys are ready for some live fantasy Q&A. Anything you guys need tonight, start sits, waiver wire ads, if you need those at this point in the week, trades, roster confidence, whatever it is. Cooper Cup's back in action. We've got some stuff to talk about. We've got Pete from After the Review in the building with us tonight. What's going on, man?
Not much. I know I got banished from the show for a couple of weeks because I took care of business against you in fantasy. No, it's good to be back. No, finally, you got to be feeling good. DJ Moore, maybe your biggest stock investment all off season. He cashed out with the biggest performance of the season so far. And honestly, I think it should have been bigger. I think my guy got robbed of 270 and 4 touchdowns yesterday. Yeah. But I played him, so I feel good.
Yeah, congrats on beating me last week in fantasy.
I think it was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. I did tell you weren't allowed to ever come on the show again, but I was kidding. Yeah, huge Thursday night game. A lot of fantasy implications from that one. And yes, I do own DJ Moore in like 70% of my fantasy leagues. So, but I have 2 leagues right now where I'm undefeated. And one of those leagues is the Catch Fam Superflex League. And I had DJ Moore against me. And I was projected to win that game. I'm doing really well in that league. Now projected to lose, but I was super happy to see a monster performance by Justin Fields and DJ Moore. Not that Fields, obviously.
I have a good one. My mom and dad are playing each other. My mom had Justin Fields and my dad had DJ Moore. I felt bad for her.
I do have one league where we had a DJ Moore versus Justin Fields matchup, and
I feel bad for Fields, man. Finally hits, and it's just, oh no.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about the Thursday night game. But huge implications there. I mean, Sam Howell looked good in the second half. I thought for a minute Washington might actually make that game interesting. But the Bears, I wasn't really on one side or the other.
I hammered the Bears last night. Yeah. That was big.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying,
the trends, big trends.
On fantasy wise, a lot of people were like hopping on this like drop Justin Fields train or sell DJ Moore for scraps, and I was kind of like in the middle. Like I don't know. I don't jump to conclusions this early in the season, but I mean, yeah, if you went out and bought DJ Moore, you're feeling pretty good right now. I mean, I know there are leagues where people got like Justin Fields off of the waiver wire and everything, so. But we'll talk more about that and how it impacted you guys out there. But yeah, let's get into some Q&A for the night. Anything you guys need, per usual, throw it in the live chat, and we'll roll through everything here. But very quickly, let's just kind of go through. First of all, I haven't been on like all week because I've been sick. My whole family was sick. So I apologize for that, guys, and I apologize for the lack of content this week. But thank you guys as a community for everything that you guys do and being understanding. But I'm here, Pete's here, and we're going to talk some fantasy tonight. So in terms of news that is worth talking about here, we've got Jimmy G cleared from concussion protocol. He will start Monday Night Football against the Packers. I think that could be a game with some fantasy implications for sure, some points in that game. Raiders at home, for what it's worth. Amon-Ra St. Brown has been downgraded to doubtful. And Jahmyr Gibbs popped up on the injury report as questionable, which is also interesting. Chase Claypool, biggest trade of the year, going to the Dolphins, baby.
Why? I don't understand that move.
It's interesting because like Robbie Anderson or Chosen Anderson.
Chosen Anderson.
He's on the Dolphins roster and he's like, I know he's not productive or anything, but it's almost like, like they want to go and pick up these kind of like scrappy, like very, very mediocre wide receivers and just have them as like depth pieces that could, in case of emergency, bring some upside. You know what I mean?
I just didn't get it. Like I looked at the Dolphins because me and my buddies were talking about it. I looked at like the receiver snap share and only Berrios is over 45% besides the big two. And it's like they had a 70-point blowout game where everybody played the fourth quarter. So that really kind of skewed it. It's like they don't play 3 wide receiver sets and they don't rotate. They run, the Mostert, Achane, dual-headed monster with Reek and Waddle out there. So I don't get this move unless Miami's like, people are starting to figure us out. We're going to change the offense completely, which I could see McDaniel maybe doing. Like, we're going 4 wide now and 1 running back, no tight ends or some crazy thing like that. I don't know. But yeah, I just don't get this move. But
Yeah.
good job, Bears. You gave up the 32nd overall pick for 0 wins.
And McDaniel like literally made a comment to the press. He was like, "We weren't looking for wide receiver depth at all," and like that was just his comment about the trade. Like it just doesn't make any
Did
sense.
somebody else
But
make this move for him? I
yeah,
guess maybe. I don't know.
Claypool's on the Dolphins, and we'll see. I mean, he's been moving around town quite a bit this year. But Cooper Kupp is expected to play against the Eagles. So this is obviously the big news, of course, for fantasy implications. You know, how's this going to affect Puka? How's it going to affect Tutu Atwell, who's been a wide receiver, especially in full PPR, that on top of Puka has been a great waiver pickup this year. We'll get into it throughout the night. I know a lot of you guys are going to bring this up, but you know, this is an interesting game this week between the Eagles and the Rams. The Eagles secondary is really, really bad. So, and I still think Kupp, I want to say he's going to be on a snap count, but like, I don't think he's going to be thrown. I mean, he's going to be thrown in the fire, but you know what I mean? I don't think he's going to be like, I think they're still going to ease him in. Yeah, there's other players, including like Tyler Higbee, and you know, Kyron Williams has been great out of the backfield. So I think they'll ease him in a bit. But you know, off the top of my head, if you own Cooper Kupp, you're probably starting Cooper Kupp. And you can still start Puka. I think Tutu is going to be the interesting one to see how his volume looks, but it's not like you went out and drafted Tutu in the 3rd round or anything. You picked him up off the waiver. So, all right, there's your news for the day. Let's get into some chat, guys. Okay. Aaron Reborn, good to see you, bro. What's up? What's up? All right, Luis. RB1 is Bijan. RB2 is Pollard. We got Lamb, Olave, Mixon. Have Kupp and JT on the bench. Where would you put them in? Also, Tua or A-Rich. Okay, a couple questions here. So, I think your lineup is fine as is. Like, if you want to leave it as it is, I don't mind it. Cardinals have been awful against the run. If you want to start mixing the flex, I don't mind it. The interesting thing here is like Kupp, like we were just talking about, probably going to be eased in. He's still Cooper Kupp. It's a bad secondary. You know, we saw Christian Watson against a decent secondary last week, eased in and scored a touchdown. So, I mean, you just have to look at the caliber of player. JT is that's a tricky one. I don't quite know if I want to start him this week either. And he's still listed as questionable. So I think you leave your lineup as is, but if you want to put Kupp over Mixon in the flex, if it's full PPR, that's fine. I do like Mixon this week, though.
I just don't trust the Bengals. Like,
yeah. I think like eventually they'll probably get towards the red zone. And I mean, like, if you're worried about Burrow, that's completely fair. But I think like they could rely on the run game more. And this Cardinals defense, and like I want to give them,
they're not great.
They're props. I mean, they've played well this year, but their run defense has been really poor. So I do like Mixon this week, but Tua or A-Rich is kind of tough. I probably go Tua because the Giants suck and they're at home.
And I think the Dolphins might have some revenge on the mind. Like, we just got blown out by the Bills. Like, we need to right this ship. We're gonna hang another 40 burger, or something to make a statement. And like A-Rich, like, I like Richardson. He just scares the living hell out of me because it's like he's. I mean, I guess Tua is kind of the same thing, but he doesn't run like Tua. Dude, A-Rich runs like a madman. Like, he's a power runner. Like, one hit, he's done again, and they go back to homeless Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, and I mean, A-Rich, poor Garner. A-Rich has been great, and I do think if you want to start A-Rich at home this week, I'm fine with it. Titan secondary sucks, but that front 7 for the Titans is good, and they are good against the run. So it's kind of interesting. Like, are they going to be able to slow down Anthony Richardson? I don't know. I'd probably just go Tua. The only thing that could hurt Tua is if they get too far up in this game and they start running the football all over the Giants, because their run defense also sucks. But I still go Tua. So yeah, I think if you want to, I think leave your lineup as is. I don't start JT this week personally, unless you're desperate. You can put Kupp over Mixon if you like that. If you like Mixon, I think that's fine too. All right. Nico Collins or Ridley. I like both these guys this week, but I probably go Ridley because I see a higher scoring game there. And
I do have a counter to this.
go ahead.
9 teams coming off of a London game not taking the bye. The opposing team's over is hit 7 of the 9 times. So the defenses get fatigued, I guess, with the travel, no bye week. So watch the Texans, especially indoors. Watch the Texans to maybe put up some points this week. But I don't think you're making a bad decision here.
Wait, the Texans. I thought
so the Falcons were in London last week off the bye. The Houston's at Atlanta, so they're indoors. Atlanta's defense the trend is they give up a lot. Defenses get 7-2 on the overs. So the defenses get gassed. I've heard this stat all over this week for gambling purposes.
Interesting.
Like, people are like, Houston's way too overvalued, but like you got to bet the Houston over because like there seems to be like a real thing with like it's happened 9 times, 5 times last year, and 7-2 is not like insignificant that the opposing team hits their over.
I think that, I mean, the Falcons are 10th against the wide receiver position in fantasy. So that was like my initial, but I think that's a great point. I kind of just like Ridley this week, but I don't mind Collins. And I think that's a good point, Pete. I like that. So maybe we go Nico here. The problem with Nico Collins is kind of the same problem with Ridley is like Ridley has Kirk, Collins has Tank Dell. Both these wide receiver rooms are a little inconsistent with who's going to have the big week. You know what I mean? So
it is it feels like an all or nothing. Like Collins is either having a huge day or a no day, and God knows what's going on with Jacksonville. I can't figure out the Jags right now. They're just disappointing.
Yeah. And like Ridley, like last week scored a touchdown, but I mean, he still only had 2 catches. So,
and he scored that touchdown super early too. It was like, oh my gosh, I was like regretting it. I played Nico over Ridley last week. I was like, I'm gonna regret this. Like, God, Ridley's finally gonna do something. And then Nico went crazy.
Good. Yeah, Ridley no more than 3 catches the last 3 games. So I mean, plenty of targets, but yeah, maybe I think I've pivoted. I think I'm gonna say Nico Collins. Pete changed my mind.
Oh no! Please, Nico, show up.
KR, what's up, man? Good to see you. Thoughts on Dobbs this week? Starting him over MT and Pickens. Yeah, that's fine. Dobbs. I mean, I know that Christian Watson's gonna start to eat into this target share a little bit. Obviously, he's very talented. But Romeo Dobbs has been the guy. I mean, for obvious reasons, but still, like he has 25 targets in the last 2 games. So him and Jordan Love, I talked about this a lot in the offseason, like that. He's going to be that PPR guy. That guy gets the receptions, the security blanket. And I know it's a half PPR league you're asking about, but Dobbs will be involved in this game, and the Raiders suck. So I mean, they're 21st against the wide receiver position. So yeah, I go Dobbs. I like him way more.
I think you're like right. Like I think they're going to try and get Love a ton of completions this weekend just to try to get the confidence back up. And so maybe Dobbs goes for like 7 catches for 55 yards, but it's like, okay, I got 7 catches out of them.
I think the interesting thing to monitor with Dobbs now is like Watson being on the field is going to open things up in the red zone for Romeo Dobbs, who can get it done in the red zone as well. So I think Dobbs is going to be a great play. MT, like, is Carr healthy? I don't know. Pickens is Trubisky starting or Pickett? Do we even know?
I think Pickett's going. Pickett got the green light, I think.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He practiced yesterday or today.
Still, I like Romeo Dobbs more. I mean, so I'll go Dobbs. Just a random kid. Hello, GT Sport. What's up? KRS is about to ask the same question for Collins and Ridley. We're going Collins.
I think I literally have that in my law, like in one of my leagues. It's Collins and Ridley at the decision, and I'm riding with Collins too.
Do I start Ertz over Kittle versus Dallas? I mean, I like Ertz, but if you own Kittle, like, I mean, I am like voiding tight end questions this year. I hate the tight end position now. Unless
have you seen like the despair? Like, so Kelsey is like 6th tight end, but he's number 1 in points per game by a wide margin, and then like everybody else is so bad.
Yeah.
Like it's unbelievable how bad tight end. Like, are tight ends dead in the NFL?
I don't know. I mean, like Sam Laporta is like the only other. Like I'd
He
be
had
excited
he
if
had a
I owned Sam
nice game.
Laporta.
Yeah, he had a nice game his last game. That's what you would be banking on. And
Yeah,
Hawk had a good game like week 1, I think.
yeah.
But
Hawkinson was looking like he was gonna be the tight end one, and then I mean, it's just tough. Like both these teams are really good against the position. So I actually no, I'm looking at the wrong thing. But
I
the
think Kittle might.
Niners
Yeah,
are top 10 against the position. But Zach Ertz actually is a great matchup. The Bengals are in the bottom 3, so I'd probably just go Ertz. But Kittle
I can't.
plays
I can't sit Kittle. Like in good conscience,
really
I can't sit Kittle. Uh, I think the Niners might boat race Dallas this weekend. I think this might be a show me game for the Niners. Like we're not screwing around. Um,
sure.
I just don't know how Dallas is going to attack this because they're going to try and pick on Parsons. Like wherever Parsons is coming from, they're going to try and throw right behind it, I think. And maybe that's Kittle. Like the linebackers aren't great for Dallas in coverage, but neither are the secondary. So I don't know. It's like I still believe in Kittle and I still believe in the Niners offense. Like the Niners offense is so good.
It is.
But the Cardinals aren't bad on offense. They're like, I think they're like right around that mid-range point. I think they're like 16, 15
Yeah.
in total offense. So it's just
I
so
mean,
hard to sit a guy like Kittle.
well, sure. Like, and there's something to be said. Like, if you own George Kittle, like you can start him every week. You just have to. If he gets
We'll
0
take those
points,
twos. We're gonna take those 2 point weeks.
it is what it is. And then if he gets 23 points the next week, you start him, and like it is what it is. So I like the matchup for Ertz here. Kittle does historically play well against Dallas. Something to bear in mind, but I think you can take either approach here. Ertz, great matchup, and he's been pretty solid this year. And then Kittle is just Kittle. Like you're starting him because you drafted him to be your starting tight end, and tight ends are awful this year, just like last year. But any thoughts on Jake Moody this week? I mean, Jake Moody is at this point a kicker you can start on a weekly basis. Um, if you want some additional options at the kicker position, our must start kickers by Steven is out for the week. I mean, he's the kicker 5 in fantasy. This is one of those matchups where the Niners are going to try and put up as many points as possible, and the Dallas's defense is still good enough that they might hold them throughout the game as well, at points at least, and they'll take those 3 points. So I don't mind Jake Moody at all. Started DJ Moore and Howe, but Amon-Ra isn't playing. Do I play Myers or Watson? I like both. I think if Jair Alexander plays, I don't even know if he's healthy right now. He'll be on Devontae Adams, so Myers should get some good looks. The rest of that Packers secondary is not great, but Watson is a good play. I mean, Watson's the upside play. I'd probably start Watson.
Yeah, I just worried that like it's Devontae's revenge game. Like Devontae is going to want to just throw it. I'll catch it. I don't care. I'm gonna catch it. Jair too small. He'll be hitting the JJ too small celebration on him. So I would like that would be my only worry about with Jacoby. It's like Devontae's gonna be yelling at Jimmy, just throw me the ball.
Basically like last week with Aiden O'Connell starting, that's basically what happened. Like you just throw, which was like that is exactly what you should do, and that it's just throw to Devontae Adams. But that's a good point. But I would start Christian Watson regardless.
11 days off too for Green Bay. Yeah. They'll figure that.
I don't really know why. Maybe you have insight to this, but Las Vegas Raiders, the team, they're the favorite in this game, and I think the Packers are going to win this game.
I think it's because Green Bay. So Detroit kind of exposed Green Bay.
Sure.
Like Max Crosby should feast against this. Bakhtiari's out for the season now. I literally just read that scrolling on the bottom of the screen. So I think that's the big thing here. It's like the offensive line for Green Bay is not great. It's a little bit better. The weapons are back, but Vegas's defense is like awful besides like the pass rush, which is kind of weird. Normally a pass rush can erase a lot of things. So I just don't think people trust Green Bay. I would lean Green Bay in this too. What is the line right now? Let's see. Yeah, it's Vegas -2. I think maybe because Jimmy G's back and they don't think, I mean, Goff threw all over the Green Bay secondary, and it's like, okay, Jimmy G can throw all over the secondary.
I guess.
And Jacobs looks good. Like Jacobs, we were like kind of worried for Jacobs for a second there, and he's looked good the last 2 weeks. So, but I don't know. I have not been bought in on this Green Bay team at all.
Really?
Yeah. like at
I like
all.
their offense.
I think Jordan
But
Love's a little overrated, and Detroit kind of showed that. I think he's kind of
yeah,
like,
I think
I
he
need it to be perfect. I
showed
need it to be
some
perfect.
resiliency. I can't talk in the second half.
Resiliency. Yeah, there you go.
Came back, but
Slightly. Never a
slightly.
doubt.
He,
Um,
yeah,
I would play Watson though, if like the whole thing.
Christian Watson. It is. What is this? Chuba Hubbard or McLaughlin?
Mm.
McLaughlin, I guess. I Is Sanders out?
He's questionable, and I
Even
watched all this
then,
game last week, obviously, with
yeah.
the Vikings playing them, and Chuba looked like the far better running back. And I'm someone who has Miles Sanders stock, and it's like, shit, are they gonna realize like Chuba was a much better runner? He ran downfield. He like their offensive line is bad, like bad offensive line, Carolina, and
I
Chuba kind of
don't.
made a couple plays that are just like, I picked up 4 when I should have lost 2,
Yeah,
and it was like,
I don't like anything to do with this Panthers offense right now. Maybe like a sprinkle Adam Thielen and the
in a
right matchups,
in a
but
PPR, Adam
yeah,
Thielen, because he catches the ball, but
I think
Bryce,
Detroit's gonna have a good
yeah.
week on both sides of the ball, man. I go McLaughlin here. The Jets' run defense is like fine, but it's not as scary as some people think it is. They're 20th in the league.
No, you can run on the Jets.
Yeah, Isaiah Pacheco just ran all over him. I go McLaughlin, but hate that you're in that position.
Yeah, it's a tough spot.
Played field during Broncos, but benched him versus Commanders. Yeah, I think a lot of people got last night's game backwards. Fields, Mixon, Barkley, Hill, Allen, Moore, Evans, Ashane, Hawkinson, Higbee, Flowers, Collins. Someone is proposing me a trade Barkley and Mixon for Evans and Evans for Chase. Barkley or Mixon. Okay. And Evans. I mean, you could do this trade. You have Hill, Allen, and DJ Moore. Oh no, you're trading away. I mean, you don't trade Barkley in that trade. If you can do Mixon and Evans, I don't mind it. That would leave you with Barkley and Devon Shane. So if you want to go that route, I think that's okay. But your roster is pretty good as is. I mean, Hill, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Mike Evans is. I don't know if you want to separate from that. Thoughts on Alvin Kamara? I mean, he's a low end RB2. I don't
Saints
think he's.
offense is broken.
Yeah, I don't know if Carr is going to be fully healthy this year. Maybe I'm being too pessimistic, but I just worry about him. And yeah, Kamara is not going to get 13 catches or whatever it was. 13. I don't know. Every game. Kamara is fine. Don't get me wrong, but it's just the offense. This is a team that's just kind of gross. They're okay. My big worry right now is how healthy is Carr actually. They're going to want to play defense first, and then kind of like dink and dunk, and they needed to start throwing it to Olave every play. But Kamara's fine, and that's about it. Go Center 10-team full PPR super flex. Should I trade Puka, DK, Kamara, and Godwin for Hill and CD? Wait, my other wide receivers are Waddle, Kirk, McLaurin. I mean, you're going to get Tyreek and CD. I mean, you're giving up like 4 players, but you're getting like 2 guys I really like. So, but it kind of, I mean, let's just think about it this way, right? You'd be starting Hill, CD, flexing, let's just say Waddle and Kirk. Let's say it's a double flex. If not, you're flexing just one of those guys. Or you can really flex any of those guys. Doesn't matter. Then you'd have Jacobs and Devon Shane as your starting running backs. I mean, like, yeah, you can do this trade, but then you just have to like kind of evaluate what 2 players are going to go pick up. I don't actually hate this trade because Tyreek Hill's involved, and I really like CeeDee Lamb. So Puka,
you lose a lot of flexibility with this. It feels like Puka and DK, especially in a full PPR, Puka's insane.
Sure.
And I don't think his volume. I don't think anything's going to change with Cup coming back. If anything, it's going to get easier. People are going to start covering Cup more. I mean, maybe there's a universe where it's like, oh, let's stop Puka Nacua and let Cooper Cup work.
Yeah.
I don't think we're in that universe though. So it's like, okay, Puka's going to get way less focus on him, and he's going to start seeing sevens now. Like he'll get those red zone targets that he's not getting
Sure.
because he's kind of their option right now. I get it. I'm not that high on CeeDee Lamb. The Cowboys offense is Mike McCarthy is so trash at play calling. It's unreal in the red zone that he doesn't know what he's doing whatsoever.
I do, to a degree, feel like they're kind of wasting CeeDee Lamb. He should be much more. And he's consistent in full PPR. It's just the ceiling is capped by the offense and the fact that the defense is so good. Like they've had all these game scripts that offenses barely had to do anything, you know. But the way I would look at this, and I do like Puka, and I do think he'll be fine when Kupp returns. But I think, you're trading Puka for Tyreek and DK for CD. DK and CD are kind of like the same type of caliber player.
Yeah, I would I'd put DK and CD in the same, like, DK is going to get the touchdowns probably, and CD will have the more consistent catches and yards.
The big question is, with Kamara and Godwin gone, who can you go kind of pick up immediately? But I mean, like I said, your starting roster would be Tyreek, CD, flexing Waddle. I mean, super flex. So I hope you're super flexing a quarterback. And then you still have Kirk, McLaurin, Dell, starting Jacobs and Devontae Shea, and then Madison and Pierce are on your bench. So you're kind of already in a position where, like, you don't need to start Kamara and Godwin anyways. Puka and DK, you do start, but they're going to be replaced. So I think I'd actually do this trade. And then just go out and pick up the best 2 available players, or don't pick up anyone and wait until you have free waiver spots.
Waivers.
Yeah. I kind of like this trade. I like Tyreek Hill, though. I mean, who doesn't? What's up, Tommy? With Amon-Ra doubtful, I need a flex. Let us know who's available. Oh, wait, hold on. You may have done that. The chat is screwing up for me. Okay, didn't. I mean, yeah, let us know who's available, Tommy, and we'll see what we can do. J-Dubs, good to see you, man. What's up? What's up? Ronnie, what's going on? Need 2 wide receivers, full PPR. We were way behind in the chat, by the way. I'm so sorry. Judy Dobbs, D-Hop, J-Mo, Dell, Boyd, or Michael Wilson. Bye week and Amon-Ra doubtful. I would start Doobie, Romeo Dobbs, probably Tank Dell. But I guess you could go D-Hop.
I don't hate Wilson. I really don't hate Wilson here. Like, Cincinnati's defense has been so bad, but this might be like a hurrah game. Like, we need to like get stops here and try and win this game. But Wilson is like, I think he's like wide receiver 15 or something like that. I picked him up on waivers this week. He's been very productive with a Cardinals offense that, like I said, we all thought was going to be 32nd, maybe 33 out of 32 teams. And they're like middle of the pack. Definitely not a liability whatsoever.
I don't mind Michael Wilson. Like, if you like him more than Tank Dell or D-Hop, I think that's fine. I'm definitely starting Romeo Dobbs here.
Yeah. Like, start a true go-to guy. Who's Tennessee? Tennessee's got a weird game, don't they? Yeah, Indy. That's a weird game.
D-Hop is like you're not getting a ceiling. And it's not, maybe not D-Hop's fault. It's just that offense, I would personally start Dell and Dobbs, but I don't mind Michael Wilson. And Boyd is interesting too if Higgins doesn't play.
I think Higgins is playing. But
playing.
What's he gonna play?
Then J-Mo, it's too soon, but he's like, you're happy that you have him on your bench. See what happens there. But it's too soon for me. I'm not a Judy guy, but Judy's probably okay too.
Lion fans are crazy on J-Mo. Like, J-Mo's going, Amon-Ra's out. J-Mo's going for 2 tutties and $180 this week. See, I was like, what? He has 1 catch in his career.
J-Mo, I think, will play better with Amon-Ra on the field and a healthy Josh Reynolds on the field, because then he can do what he does. But when he's not going to play great against the number one, just having all the defensive pressure on him. So, all right, let's see here. Okay, here's your options, Tommy. Projected to lose by 15. Don't pay attention to projections.
Nope, they're right. You should just quit now.
Like I said, the Superflex Catch Family guy was projected to win by like 30 points, and DJ Moore scored 48 points against me. Now I'm projected to lose. Like it's loose, right? Need a flex, Khalif Raymond or McLaughlin. I I don't really want to go out and start Khalif Raymond because this Carolina Panthers, believe it or not, this defense is actually good. It's like the only good part of this team. Like they're not great, but they don't allow good fantasy games. Like they really don't. They're 6th in the league against opposing wide receivers in fantasy. Uh I don't like Raymond this week. Like especially if Reynolds doesn't play. I don't like him. Like I think he could be okay if Reynolds and J-Mo are out there, but I don't know. I'm just not there. I don't think it's a good matchup. He's shown some stuff in the past, but I'm just not quite there. I'd rather start McCaughlin, but if you like Raymond more, okay, it's okay, maybe, but like maybe the volume just forces the points. But I mean, if it's not full PPR, I would definitely not. But I go with McCaughlin here. All right, let's see. Space Ghost, what's up? Flex, Cook, Gibbs, Edwards. I'll go. You probably have to start Cook.
Cook. Yeah, he's been awesome.
Yeah, I was close to saying Edwards because I really like Gus Edwards this week. I love his matchup. The Steelers suck. They're
That game is going to be super close. Just watch. That game is
Yeah.
going to be like a
No,
3-point game,
I
and
do
we know
think
they can't score points, and so I think their defense plays well this week.
I actually had the same thoughts on that game. Like I think that the Steelers are going to have one of those games where they keep it close. But overall on the season, they've been poor against the run and against the pass from a fantasy perspective purely. I mean, like they can keep that game close and win.
Sacks and
But
touchdowns are the only thing that keep their fantasy
yeah,
defense up.
sure. But
Yeah.
you got to go Cook here. He's been too good. Did I play JT over Cook? I don't want to start JT this week. I mean, guy, we have to remember that like he's coming back. Like he's not. He's going to be eased in and all that stuff. But the Titans are still 8th in the league against opposing running backs. Like they're so only thing they're good at, like giving the football to Derrick Henry and stopping the run is like the only thing this team has anything to to their credit. But I would just go JT here and be happy that you have JT, or excuse me, go James Cook.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Just be good with JT. Yeah.
Yeah, and then just watch what JT does, and if it's good, then so be it. But then you can have confidence moving forward. But I start Cook this week. Who? Josh Dobbs or Joe Burrow? I mean, here's what you have to ask yourself, right? Like, do you think Burrow is still limited? He only practiced like once this week.
He can't run. He can't move. He's stuck in the pocket.
I mean, it's getting to the point where like I've been saying it for weeks now, but like they should have just rested Burrow the first month of the season. Like I mean, they got one. They probably do. They have one win or two.
One, they beat the Rams somehow in a game that the Rams should not have lost.
You could have won one game without Burrow. I think at least. They should have just rested him, but Dobbs is kind of sneaky. We might see a game eventually where Dobbs comes back to life, like back to reality.
Dobbs has never been bad though. That's like the thing. We have this perception of Dobbs like, oh, he's just like a third string backup guy because that's always what he was. But like, remember he had that fire sale start for Tennessee last year, and he was good. Like they almost won that game. He was fine. They lost it late. He's just, I don't know. I don't think Josh Dobbs is a bad quarterback. Like, think of the quarterbacks you would rather have. Now I know, obviously, like I'd rather have Joe. There we go. Dropping frames over here.
Oh, we're good. Lost you for a second. Can you hear me?
Can't hear you.
Boop, boop, boop. Pete.
Internet's crapping out.
If it's on my end or your end. Chat, can you still hear me? Uh-oh. Well, I'm here. And what I was going to say, we'll get Pete back in a minute here. In terms of Dobbs, Okay, here's Pete.
Like I couldn't hear you at all. Like everything dropped.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you now.
All right, we're back. Okay.
Internet troubles. We're back. I was just saying Josh Dobbs not bad. Like he's been good in the games
Sure.
he's played. But Joe
Yeah,
Burrow,
and
obviously Joe Burrow.
yeah, it's tough here. Dobbs made the waiver wire video last week, and I do like Dobbs this week. So you have to ask yourself the question, Space Ghost, like, are you worried about the Burrow situation? Do you think it could turn ugly? If the answer is yes, then go Dobbs. He's safe. All right, Albert, what's good, my guy? It's
It's like
Cup.
one last, like, what hill do you want to die on? Do you want to
Yeah.
die on the Burrow hill, or do you want to die on the I roll the dice hill?
Yeah.
So that's the question you have to ask yourself.
Is Cup back?
He back. He ain't back.
We'll find out, but probably not. Sat Fields for Stroud this week. Won't happen moving forward. Started Fields, commit, and then catch fam. Redraft league, nice. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people saw Sat Fields. I mean,
Stroud is good. So you made the right decision. It may not be the correct outcome, but you made the right decision.
Sure. Stroud will still have a good game. And this is Thursday night. You know, the Thursday night games are usually ugly, but I mean, this game was ugly, just not in the, you know,
Who knew the Commanders were that bad?
God. I did. I mean,
I think Ron kind of lost the locker room not going for 2 the weekend before against Philly, and it kind of maybe spiraling on them real quick.
Yeah, that I grew up a Washington fan. I was leaving it at that. Tank Dell or Tutu. I go Tank Dell. Tutu's gonna lose some volume. What's up, Alex? Good to see you, bro. Drop Spears for McLaughlin from waivers. I mean, Spears is the guy to like hold on to if you feel pretty confident in your roster. McLaughlin is the guy to pick up if you need an immediate RB help, short-term help. So that would be my thought. Whatever fits you better. Then you made the right move in either direction. Is Cup, if Cup is back, flex Cup or Cook, unless you like Cook over No, Monty and Bijan have fantastic matchups. They are in your lineup. If it's full PPR, you can go Cup. I don't hate it, but Cook is like the floor play if you just want to go safe and start Cook. Jags have been good against running backs, but Cook catches the ball a lot, so I'm not as worried. Cup is the upside play. Would you trade Brees for JT? Probably. But I think Brees is going to have a good game this week against the Broncos.
I want to see Zach Wilson one more week. Like maybe Zach like just has it now. Obviously, it could be just like he doesn't have it, but maybe something just clicked, and maybe Rodgers needs to show up more. But if Zach has it, Brees is going to be awesome because they're going to be able to run the football against like not 12-man boxes
and it's
and actually do something if Zach can throw the football a little bit.
The only thing I worry about is this Broncos defense is so bad. But I think that Zach Wilson will have a good game. And I think like Brees Hall will have a good game. They've been really bad against the run. Garrett Wilson, I'm a little bit worried about if Pat Surtain plays and everything, you know.
I've been trying to trade Garrett Wilson for 2 weeks, and nobody will take him, even though they aren't playing guys that like they don't play Swift, they don't play Montgomery. I'm like, well, if you're not going to play him, trade for Wilson. You need wide receiver help.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Garrett Wilson's doomed on the season. I've been saying that like since week 1, but this game, I don't, this Broncos defense is really bad, but Pat Surtain's still a good corner. He has kind of slipped up a few times this year, but
I think it's the scheme. Like they don't even put him up against because we had this talk like with Terry because we were super worried about Terry week 2, and he went crazy against him. I think it's just like Sean Payton. There needs to be a conversation about how Sean Payton's not a good football coach. I don't think he can't identify defensive coaches.
No, not at all. But I do worry.
I would pause. Just like I don't want to give up Brees for JT. Like JT can go off the reservation again.
That's true. But I think if JT is actually committed to this team, like he's saying he is,
this is good. Offense.
I mean, this offense has already been productive on the year.
They're good offense. Shane Steichen is the man apparently.
Yeah,
because Philly is struggling mightily on offense without him.
And it's like no disrespect to Zach Moss, but You imagine a fully healthy JT lining up with Anthony Richardson, the things they could do. There's a lot of upside there, but I agree with your point. There could be a lot of upside to Brees if this Jets offense gets rolling. I think the biggest problem is we might see a, kind of a delusion this week of the Broncos defense just sucks. I mean, like the Bears put it up against them.
Well,
We
then you could
saw
maybe get more for Brees then. Maybe
that's
like,
true.
man, and JT's kind of slow, like they kind of
That's
slowly
true.
work him back in.
It's a bad
It's like,
matchup for
well,
JT this week. So
give me JT and, name your wide receiver or flex player you want to pick up with it. And
that's true.
then there you go.
I don't think JT's gonna have a great week. It's a tough defense for him to go up against. I think you hold here. Yeah, I think that's a good point. You can probably sell higher on Brees Hall after this week. Who wins Monday night? I mean, I'm leaning the Packers, but I'm probably wrong. I think there's going to be a lot of trap games this week. Like we saw a couple last week. This is usually the time of the year where we see some teams start to kind of surprise us and solidify themselves. See a couple teams start to slip up. And
big trap game, 325. Big trap game for them Super Bowl champs. You know what I'm saying?
I do think that the Vikings, I think they can win. I mean, the Chiefs were a little slow last week. They're on the road. I mean, there's a lot of games I think this week that could go either way. I'm not really confident in a lot of money lines this week, except like the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are going to destroy the Giants.
Also, it's gonna be a home game for Green Bay. They're Vegas. I mean, the Packer fans are gonna show up. I know Pittsburgh turned that into a home game 2 weeks ago. So yeah, hammer the Packers.
I do like the Packers. I agree. All right, traded Gabe Davis for Najee recently. Other backs were Henry, B-Rob, McCaughlin. It was probably a fine trade. Other receivers were Moore, Evans Debo's son, Michael Wilson. Did I win that trade? I mean, I don't think anyone really won or lost that trade. I mean,
everybody lost that trade.
Gabe Davis has been productive. I mean, if Katz is in the chat, Katz all off season long, that was your guy. I don't think Katz is here tonight, but Gabe Davis has been good, actually. I mean, not a crazy high ceiling, but he's been productive. But yeah, I don't think anyone this is a fair swap either way. If you need the running back depth, which it looks like he did, it was a good trade for you. Let's see here. Traded Keenan for Etienne and Debo. I would have kept Keenan the way he's been playing. I mean, it's not an awful trade, but I would have kept Keenan right now. I mean, it's a good trade if you needed the depth, you need an extra running back. But I really, Keenan Allen's been playing great.
Like he's okay, right? Like Mike Williams out for the season, so like that's the injury. But like we knew one of those two was gonna go down. Keenan's been spared and he's gonna have a great season. And I think his contract it might be up here soon or something. There was something weird going on here. So, but then again, Keenan could go down this week, and the Chargers are again the Chargers, and they have no wide receivers, and you're dancing on your opponent's grave.
Sure.
I like Etienne. I think the Jags will get this figured out. I hope they get it figured out.
But I think they will too. Yeah. So I dropped Pickens and Jalen Warren for Keaton Mitchell and Ronnie Rivers. No. Too much unknown. No. I keep the two guys you have, even if the Steelers offense is what it is.
Pickens is still a dude. Like he's gonna get.
He is. Yeah, you should not be dropping Pickens unless you're in like an 8-man league or something. Started Fields, Chase, Wilson, Flowers, Monty. Hope they all go off along with Waller. Yeah, I mean, Waller's one of those guys like you're probably just starting him because you have to. But I love Flowers this week. Great matchup for him. Love Monty this week. Monty anytime touchdown feels like a really safe bet. But don't bet on touchdowns because they're always super risky. AR or Lawrence and Stroud or Lawrence. I feel like the Jags could be really sneaky this week. I think their offense will play well because they're just chilling in London waiting for the Bills to come, and the Bills have to travel and everything. I guess they come a couple days early or whatever, but I mean, I think T-Law is fine every week. Every week.
The Bills won the game of the season too. Like there might be a little letdown here. Like they had to win that Miami. Like they were super up in that Miami game. And we've never seen like a team stay 2 weeks in London, so we have no idea what it's going to look like.
Yeah, they might party too much, or they might just. I mean, they're accustomed to like they don't have to travel, But I think it start T-Law any week. It's just his ceiling is not high, and hopefully it gets high. But T-Law is a fine floor play. If you want upside, you can go AR or Stroud in those matchups. Flowers or Olave. You just have to start Olave, but I love Flowers' matchup this week. All right, let's see here. Aaron Jones, Kirk, or Dobbs? Christian Kirk. Olave, Ridley, Chiron, Etienne, Hall. Start 3. Olave, Ridley, and tough matchup for Chiron this week, but it's either him or Etienne or Hall. Actually, love his matchup. I mean, if we're going by matchup, it's Hall. If we're going by maybe Etienne, but I don't know. I might just go Hall there, but Ridley and Olave for sure. Start 1, Shaheed, Cooks, Slayton. You can go Shaheed here. All right, trying to kind of speed through here. Caleb, you go Michael Wilson. Better matchup there, or just upside there. All right, Chase, what do we got here? Trade Chiron and Amon-Ra for Hill. Have JJ, Amon-Ra, Cup, good wide receiver depth with Jacobs, Chiron, Ramondre, White as RB options. If you can go get Tyreek Hill, I'm not going to tell you no. It's a fair trade for both sides, but the side getting Hill still wins. You can go do it. Ridley or Watson? I mean, Ridley's the floor play. Watson's the upside. I'd probably take Watson. Davis, Addison, or London? When is Jordan Addison going to be good again, Pete?
Do you want the real answer? Like, I don't. The offense is all over the place right now. Yeah. So Addison so his 2 touchdowns came as he was the third receiver, and the second one against Philly was like specifically, it was a play literally designed to beat cover 8, which Philly likes to run a lot. Like that was the only, like that play was only installed for Philly, and it works. He got a lot of targets against the Chargers when he played in the 2 slot, and then he did nothing last week against Carolina. The whole team did nothing last week, but they won the game. So maybe they're going to start running the football now. Like Cam Akers looks awesome. Madison's going to lose his job soon, and it's going to be a lot sooner than later. So yeah, back off the Madison stock. Don't let the yardage and better looking numbers fool you. Cam Akers is going to take that job. But I don't know. The Chiefs are like decent in pass covers. They're awful in the run game. So we're going to run the football again this week, trying to be like, oh, we're going to run the ball against the Chiefs.
I think we go Gabe Davis here.
Yeah, I think that's probably safer.
I just wanted to get.
I hate my football team. It's very well known. I hate my football team, especially at 1-3.
What should I do with Burrow and Dynasty in a position to win it all this year? I mean, you can probably get really good. I don't know. It's tough because people are going to try and like buy him low from you. But I mean, if you get the right offer, you can consider it if you're truly in a position to win the league. But I think in Dynasty, man, you have to hold on to Burrow. Even if you're like full win now mode, it just doesn't matter. You know, like there is a tier of quarterbacks that you can't move on from. Most start Jones, Goddard, or Tutu. Most start against the Giants, but you could go Aaron Jones if you think he's fully healthy. That's fine. Maybe Aaron Jones. Madison, Edwards, Addison, Wilson need a RB and a flex. Edwards against the Steelers, great matchup, and Michael Wilson. We like Michael Wilson tonight, so we'll stick with him. I think you stick with T-Law, but Dobbs is okay.
And the Vikings go for 40 against the Chiefs, and we look really stupid.
Could happen. I mean, maybe Addison is due. I don't mind. I don't like both those guys there. I'm like,
just JJ's the only reliable thing on that team, and Kirk to do something, to throw a couple touchdowns and a pick.
Swift or Pacheco? Probably Swift, but Pacheco's okay. I guess we're like 50 minutes behind in the chat. T-Law just got dropped. Should I drop Watson or Goff or both? I'm assuming this is Deshaun Watson. I might drop Deshaun Watson over Goff, but I don't know because the Lions run so much. I still feel like, I think the Browns playing from behind more. I feel like Watson's a higher ceiling. I'd probably drop Goff, but you should go pick up T-Law either way. Yeah, Logan Thomas and Kmet both look good last night. That is a good point. Referring back to the tight ends. All right, I'm gonna try and get caught up here. Pick one: Burrow, Goff, Stroud. I mean, redraft Stroud. Calvo, what's up? Should I trade Amon-Ra for Swift? Receivers or CD and Jamar? No, I'd still keep. I mean, unless you're. I mean, well, Madison and Rashad White, maybe, but maybe if I still think you can get more from Amon-Ra, and it's a bad time to sell him. So I don't want to sell him low. He's too good of a player to sell low. Should I start Burrow or Love this week? Probably Love. He's got a good matchup. Go Love. Smokey, sell DJ Moore on the high or hold. I mean, you can always sell on the high if you get the right offer.
They're playing the Vikings next week on 10 days rest. They should be able to throw the football. You could probably sell them after another big game.
Yeah. I still believe in DJ Moore. I'll put it that way. But I believed in him all off season, so I have to stick by it. Got Mahomes, Bijan, Saquon, Travis Etienne, Olave, DJ Moore, Ingram, Cooper, Hall, and Lockett. Anything I should change, trade? No. You're 3-1. You've got a great squad. You can probably use some running back depth, but you don't need to go crazy with it. I mean, that's only because Saquon's been banged up, but you have Etienne too. You're 3-1 is a good place to be right now. You're good. Thoughts on Cooper Kupp? Are you playing him? Yes. If you need to flex Kupp this week, that's fine. Eagles secondary is bad. I don't think his ceiling's super high this first week back. But yeah, it's Cooper Kupp. Like they weren't going to start him until he was good to go. But just because he's good to go, you got to get back to game speed. But yeah, you can totally start him. Tight end is dry. Who to play this week? Conklin, Knox, Gray, Hurst. Yeah. I mean, I hate this type of question.
I don't hate Conklin. I don't hate Conklin. They're playing Denver. Denver sucks.
Yeah, Conklin's fine, but it's like any of these guys can outscore each other. It's just when we get to these type of tight ends, it's like if one of them scores a touchdown, then they outscore him.
You won the week. You won the week if you get a touchdown.
I'd probably go Conklin, Hurst, Knox, and Gray would be my order. With St. Brown out, do I start J-Mo? You can, but if you have options that are more consistent, then J-Mo's no more than a flex until we really see something on paper. Should I flex Flowers or Hopkins? Definitely Flowers against the Steelers. Definitely. I own Tua. Would you trade Waddle and Pollard for Hill and Ramondre? Yeah, because you get Hill. I mean, like, he's the best player between these trades, and Pollard is good, but he hasn't been great this year. So, but I would rather have Pollard than Ramondre. So maybe Waddle gets. I mean, when Waddle gets going, like Waddle's a great buy low because that offense is so good. Waddle will get going at some point, so maybe you want to keep that in mind. Godfather, good to see you, bro. Start Watson over Kupp. You can. I like both Watson and Kupp this week, so whoever you feel better about. I go Brees over JT though. Mind rating my team: AR Fields, Eckler, Devontae Shane, Najee, Diggs, Kupp, AJ Brown, Debo Higgins, Judy Waller. Looks pretty good. The big thing is you need Eckler back because you've been having to start Najee, which hurts your ceiling. But wide receivers look great. Getting Kupp back is going to be good for you. You have a lot of wide receiver depth, which I don't hate in the PPR league, but you got some guys here like Higgins and Judy who, if Kupp is back and consistent for you, you can start to maybe ship around as well. But team looks good to me. What's up, Chase? Good to see you in the chat. Let's see here. Pick one wide receiver to start and one to flex. Puka, Ayuk, Wilson, Flowers. I just go with Puka and Ayuk here. Like, it shouldn't be that hard. Those are your best players. Start them. Other good options, but you should start them. Let's see here. Tommy, I go McCaughlin there. Let me see. All right, this is when we died on screen. Here we go. Okay, good. We're catching up a bit here. All right, thoughts on my squad: 12-team PPR: Fields, Chase, Wilson, Monty, Pierce, Flowers, Saints, Fairbear. We got Ardell, White, Roshan, Elger, McLaughlin, Rice, 2 and 2. I mean, for a 12-team PPR league, this looks just about right. But I mean, your starting lineup's fine. Fields, Chase, Wilson, Monty and Pierce, Flowers in the flex. I'm trying to figure out who Ardell is. Tank. That's probably supposed to be Tank Dell, and then Rashad White.
R's next to T. R's next to T on the keyboard.
Yeah, I was like, that's probably
Tank.
what it was. Yeah,
Chase and Wilson and Fields have killed this team. That's why it's 2 and 2.
Yeah, those
but like
guys.
Monty's awesome.
Yeah, Monty is great, and even Pierce is where you drafted him has been disappointing. So, I mean, like, yeah, you can try and ship around some players here to see if you can get players who are going to bring more upside. But the problem is, like, to Pete's point, like, you're selling Chase low, you're selling Wilson low, selling Monty low. I mean, not Monty, but Pierce. Like, you only sell Fields or Monty high. It doesn't really help you to sell Fields. You don't need quarterback help necessarily. So, I mean, you can always try and upgrade a running back or wide receiver here, but just do so at the right price. Please tell me Tank Dell have a spike game. I mean, if you look at the pattern, it would make sense. So, but yeah, between Nico and Dell, it's going to be inconsistent. It must be cursed. I'm 1 and 3. Have Lamar, Etienne, Monty Hill, Ridley, Waller, Lockett, Addison, Dallas are the top scoring team. It's always the worst when you're losing games and you're the top scoring team. But typically that means as the season goes on, things will balance themselves out. So don't give up yet. Spence is in the chat. What's up, man? Good to see you. Kevin, sit 2. Saquon, Cook, A. Shane, Kamara. I'd probably sit. You have to ask yourself the question, like, are you okay with starting Saquon coming off the injury? Like, do you think he's good to go? But I probably go Saquon and Devon A. Shane. If not, it's Cook and A. Shane. And the only reason we're sitting Saquon is because of the injury. But Miami's defense is not good. In case
they're bad.
Like, if their defense was good, this would probably be the best team in the league. But their defense is bad. So I probably stick with Saquon if he plays. Just offered Palmer and Gibbs for Williams. Is that fair? Trying to package deal to bring Cup back in the lineup. Which Williams is the question? Because there's a lot of Williams. So Javonte? It just depends.
Mike Williams.
Yeah, like, but aren't both the main Williams hurt? Am I missing?
Yeah, I think yeah.
Little Bunny Hop, what's up, man? Debo or Pivot take a high risk reward with Reynolds? Debo. Just go Debo. Good to see you, Bunny Hop. I dropped Gibson, Dotson, Sky Moore. I think Sky Moore against a particular team this week that has a bad secondary could have one of those weeks where he scores, but that doesn't mean that you have
those receivers are trash. Don't listen to him. They all are trash. Just trash receivers.
The thing is, any of these wide receivers can score, but man, if you break down the volume for the wide receivers on the Chiefs right now, it's awful. It is awful. I mean, they're barely getting any targets. Rashee Rice leads the team in targets at the wide receiver position, outside of Kelsey included. But it's like I don't know what thing about this Chiefs team. Like, they're going to be. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're great. Their defense has looked really good this year, which is something that they've needed. But especially now at this point, this dynasty span or whatever we want to look at it as. But I don't know about these Chiefs wide receivers. Like, I think Sky Moore could score this week, but I think he could score a combined total of like 4 points the next like 4 weeks. So this
is the week is the problem. Like, Mahomes is the least blitz quarterback in the NFL. Minnesota is by far the heaviest blitzing defense. So that means quick stuff to those receivers. Can they catch a football? We don't know. Kelsey can. I mean, Rice has been the only reliable one, but come on, let's get real.
I really like Rashee Rice this week. No offense, but that's like a total, like, if you're desperate, you need to throw someone in the flex play, because I still don't trust this Chiefs wide receiver room at all. But on the other hand, Gibson is droppable. Dotson is probably droppable. I don't know what in the world happened there. Maybe we hold on a couple more games, but if they couldn't get it going with Dotson against the Bears, I don't know what's going to happen with Dotson, who I just adored in the offseason. I have a ton of Dotson shares. I traded up in a dynasty league to draft Dotson. Anyways, I'll move on. Let's see. My boy John on the moon. Derek, good to see you. Devo versus Dallas, no Diggs, still Gilmore, but Gilmore would probably be on Ayuk. Reynolds in Goff Stadium, no Brown. I probably still go Debo. The DJ and Field stack did well this week. It did. I had that stack in a lot of leagues, and a couple. I like 3 or 4 underdog weekly winners teams where I had that stack. So we got to see how the rest of the weekend goes. But I have 1 or 2 weekly winners teams that have a pretty solid shot. We'll see. I think it's gonna be a weird week, anyways. Madison, Dobbs, Dell. Pick my second flex. Dobbs. Let's see. Not feeling confident starting Madison. Yeah,
I wouldn't. But the Chiefs' run defense is pretty bad. Like that's their weakness. But
fantasy wise,
Cam Akers, we don't have a rushing touchdown on the season either, so it's not great.
Fantasy wise, the Chiefs' defense is 7th. They've actually been really good. But yeah, don't be confident starting Madison either way. Even against bad run defenses from a fantasy perspective, it's like his ceiling is not high. I mean, every game is the same for the Vikings. Eventually, it's just like, all right, let's let Kirk get extremely pressured and then toss the football up multiple times. And
why do we got to do this? Like, why do we need to run the football? Just line up in the shotgun, and then you can maybe run it. Throw the football. We have a million wide receivers that are better than Jordan Addison is better than every third corner in this league. I'm sorry. Justin Jefferson is better than every first corner in this league. Like, God, just
even
throw the ball.
Could be productive. And like, sorry, we don't need to talk.
He's about KJ's in his feelings. I'm not on KJ. True. He's in his feelings.
Addison, Waller, Dell. I probably go Tank Dell here.
Yeah, Tank Dell.
Flowers or Ridley. I go Flowers. I really like Zay Flowers this week. I think he's going to bounce back and have a big week. Let's see. Are we at the point where we're considering Zach Wilson over Burrow?
No, never. Because if anything, Brees is going to get the touchdowns. It's like they said no restrictions on Brees this week.
Yeah.
So Brees will get the touchdowns this week against them. They gave up 8 touchdowns to Miami running backs.
Yeah. You'd have to be more desperate than this. Tommy finally parted ways with Dotson. Yeah, he's been trash. Let's be honest. Grab Raymond just in case, but I think I'll drop him and grab Spears. Yeah, I think Spears are a great handcuff for sure. Spence, need a good week from Jaden Reed. Hope you get it, Bursky. Mo Diesel, stash 1, hat PPR. Robinson, Cooks, Downs, or Jordan Mason. I would stash Downs, but Randall Robinson's kind of interesting, but Giants suck. Packers or Cowboys defense? Cowboys, because like at least the Cowboys. I mean, oh God, I mean, I really don't want you to start either, but I don't like the Packers this week. They're not a good fantasy defense. I mean, at least the Cowboys like create turnovers and stuff, but I mean, if you're able to have 2 defenses, you should just not have the Packers. There's better streaming options out there.
Yeah, like the Cowboys are such front runners. Like the Cowboys defense is great when they're up 10 points. And then if the Cowboys defense is in a 3-point game, maybe they start hemorrhaging like they did against Arizona.
Yeah. I don't really want you to start either of these defenses. It's Steven's must-start defenses and streams are out on the channel. You want to check those out. He thinks outside the box and tells people to start Washington on Thursday night, but that's a different story. And the Steelers last week. But, Steven, like, historically will usually hit like 3 or 4 out of 5. And whichever one he doesn't hit on is, like, always really bad.
The worst defense.
But to be fair, he, like, is really good at identifying teams that, like, maybe played poorly, like, the week before and bounce back. I mean, like he called the Steelers in week 2 this year and they like 29 points. So, and everyone was laughing at him in the comments, like they just got destroyed by the Niners. And then
They had 2 touchdowns against
he does a good job, but he always gets upset. I was texting him Thursday night, like, you're screwed. Everyone's going to hate your video the rest of the week. Anyways.
Nah, you're good. -5 is okay for defense.
Stroud or Stafford? Staph infection is going to be someone we really need to monitor now that Cup is back. But you start Stroud, I think.
I'm worried about the Stafford injury. He's a little nicked up, and they don't have their tackle.
Yeah, the Eagles' front 7 is still very good. Their secondary is not good, but that front 7 could be a problem for Staffy this week. I will go Stroud. Cinnabon, what's up, man? All right, let's see. Kilo Wolf, good to see you, bro. Thank you for calling out. Dropping the likes. We're at 29 likes. Let's go.
I'll down like it. Oh, we're up to 30. Woo.
Philly defense or stream defense? I mean, the Phillies defense hasn't been good from a fantasy perspective, so probably stream, unless you really don't like the Rams. But I think that secondary just makes it's a problem. Is like team can have a really good front 7, but in fantasy, like if they have a bad secondary, it just doesn't always matter. Kirk or Anthony Richardson? I'd start. I feel like I want to say Kirk here.
Maybe.
Yeah. Kirk is the foreplay. Richardson's the upside, but I think Richardson against the Titans could be a little scary. Cole Kmet is currently the Titan 1.
Kirk's out of the window. That's the only.
Yeah.
Kirk's out of the window.
Kmet's got one game up on everyone. I did.
And 2 on Kelsey. 2 up on Kelsey.
Yeah. I do have a lot of Cole Kmet shares, and I for the most part I held on to them. So, all right, let me see. What should I be looking to upgrade if trading Walker? I wouldn't trade Walker. Oh, you've seen Saquon. I mean, I don't know. Having 3 stud running backs is never a problem. Devonta, DK, Nico. I mean, if you're going to trade for anything, it's a wide receiver. I mean, and I like Devonta and DK. Nico's fine, but I guess you're kind of in a position where it's tough to start Walker unless you're flexing him most weeks. But I don't know. I'd probably just hold those guys. Sport Dog, 8-team. I have Amon-Ra and Dobbs for wide receiver. If Amon-Ra is out, I have Collins, Davis, Atwell. Also, if Watson, I go Collins or Watson. Yeah, if you're worried about Watson being limited, then just go Collins. Happy PPR, start Richardson or Hurts. I mean, you always start Hurts. I don't even care who he's playing. You start Hurts. Bitty South City. Made trade today, sitting Smith, Achane, Najee, Ferguson for Tyreek. Holy cow. New lineup is Geno, Hill, Chase, Moore, Jones, Rice, Kyron, Hall, JT, Mitchell, Thomas. Did I give up too much? I mean, you got Tyreek Hill, so like, no. Oh, it's a 14-teamer. I don't know. In 14-teamers, I will say I prefer to have as much depth available as possible. So maybe if this was a 10 or 12-team league, probably not. Like you give up a lot here, but you got Tyreek. 14-teamer, I prefer the depth. But you still got Tyreek Hill, so
Achane's gonna be RB1 by the end of the season.
Yeah, he might be.
Heard it here first. He's a touchdown machine. Glad I invested
this offseason. Got a lot of heat for that. I didn't end up with a lot of shares of him, I'm not gonna lie. But I do have him.
Dude. It's great at A&M. Man.
Should I get Jones for Ramondre and Herbert?
I'm okay with that. Ramondre's
sure
just forgot how to play football. I have Ramondre and I hate him. I hate his guts.
Yeah, it's like Stevenson and Herbert don't have any consistency. They could get going. Herbert got a little banged up last night.
That was nasty too. Did you see that on the Commanders field? The Commanders field strikes again. It looked bad though.
Yeah, this is probably fine. Agitated Crane. Some of these usernames. Gibbs or Brees? Brees? Great matchup. Gibbs is like, what the hell, Dan Campbell? Should I trade Walker when Saquon comes back? No.
Kenny's the
Just
man.
keep them all.
Look at that. Oh my God, such a good team. 12 team. That's an awesome team. Keep that team.
Keep that team. Just hold. Smokey, thank you so much for the super chat. I'll hit you up. I haven't there are some running backs this week. It's always risky to take anytime touchdowns, but
Montgomery minus 160 because I know you wanted that.
There's some running backs who have really good. Bijan gets the Texans. Gus Edwards has the Steelers. Monty has a great matchup. Devontae Shane has a good matchup. There are some running backs
CMC,
this week.
Automatic.
That one I'm a little bit more hesitant about, but
it's 14 straight games. He just gets in the end zone.
He does. I love Mixon against the Cardinals. I don't mind James Conner versus the Bengals. I like Swift against the Rams. There are just some running backs this week. I don't know. I think it could be one of those weeks where we see a lot of running backs score. So when I was looking at pick'ems for the week, I was just looking at running backs. So I'll let you know though, Smokey. I'll hit you up. Was offered Debo for Flowers and Higgins. If you feel confident at wide receiver, you can take that trade. But I would probably not try and sell Higgins low, because basically Higgins has been looked at in the same caliber as Flowers here. And I like Flowers, but Higgins when healthy is a different story. All right, trying to get caught up here.
We're close.
Zach Wilson or Daniel Jones? I actually think Daniel Jones can bounce back this week. Miami's defense is just purely not good. And Daniel Jones kind of has a history of when he's in this position, like bouncing back to a degree. But literally the Dolphins are giving up to the quarterback position the third most points. Like they're bad as a defense. They're bad against opposing quarterbacks. I actually think a lot of people this could be one of those games where Daniel Jones has like 25 fantasy points and everyone's like, oh, but he sucks. And maybe he does suck, but
he runs like maybe the running, like he runs one in, runs for
I don't think
yards.
The Giants I think they're not going to win this game. I don't think they can put up the same firepower, but this is a game to smash the over on, in my opinion. And I think Jones will actually be okay. I think you go Jones here, but Wilson's fine. To the same argument, the Broncos, let's see here. They are literally the worst team in the league against opposing quarterbacks in fantasy. So it's like, pick your poison here, man. I do think that the Jets could end up running more, but they both have great matchups. So, yeah. Do you still like Puka with Cup back? Yes. Ceiling maybe lowered. He's a perfectly fine flex option. I've been saying it for weeks now. He's fine. He'll be okay. Higbee or Kincaid? Higbee for sure. Kincaid is like barely getting any targets. Higbee gets targets. Philly has struggled against tight end position. So, Flowers or Ridley? DJ on your bench. I go Flowers due to matchup. I do like Ridley, but yeah. Birdman, good to see you. Tresner, what's up, dude? Stream defense this week, not many options. Indy, Denver, or Tennessee. Oh gosh. I mean, maybe
Indy.
Indy was at home and definitely be Indy on the road.
They are at home. They're at home.
Oh,
Indy is at home.
Oh, you're right.
Tennessee said Indy.
You're right. Then go Indy. Yeah. Don't start Denver. And Tennessee's secondary is so bad. I mean, Indy has created some turnovers this year. I mean, yeah, it's ugly.
They get a good pass rush too. Like you get some sacks.
Take the home team here and just don't start Denver. Miami, Lions, Baltimore, Jets, Bills, all good choices this week. Those are all perfectly fine streaming options. I do kind of worry about Miami, but those are all good streaming options. Lions are the best streaming option, in my opinion. Evan Engram has been the most consistent tight end. Yeah, I forgot about him. He's been good. Trying to ship off Gibbs and Palmer or Gus. What could I get for that good one, Godwin? Probably, maybe, but you need to wait until like Gibbs has a productive enough game and Palmer has a good game. Gus will probably have a good game this week. So Arizona's defense is kind of sneaky too. I don't mind them actually. They are on the road, but I do think they actually could be like a team at worst.
No, that game's in the desert. That game's in Arizona.
Oh, geez, what is wrong with me today?
You're off. They're in the desert. I thought they were. It's like, yeah, they're home.
Don't listen to me. Then, yeah, I actually kind of like Arizona, but don't be surprised if Burrow has a good day. It could be either direction.
Maybe no. How about no defense? So they all get negative. We start no defense.
Well, some leagues have negative points for defenses. Some don't.
True.
But. Michael Wilson or Thielen? I go Michael Wilson. I got a bad feeling about the Panthers this week. Offering Laporta, Cooper, and Ramondre for Eckler. Excuse me. I mean, if you get Eckler, like I don't hate it. Have CMC and Bijan. Yeah, I mean, if you can, you still have Cup, Amon-Ra. Yes, you can do this. You'd still have Cup, Amon-Ra, Nico, Watson, and Thielen. I don't know who your other tight end is the only thing. But even then, yeah, if you can have a healthy CMC, Bijan, and Eckler, then let's go. I would do it. Should I start Jimmy G or Daniel Jones? Call me crazy, but I'm going to say Danny Dimes. Call me crazy. Zach Wilson or Daniel Jones, neither, and quit. Yeah, this is a good point, guys. I mean, if Barkley doesn't play, then yeah, I mean, but either way, I don't want
Barkley better play. I'm in real trouble in fantasy if Barkley doesn't play. I don't have any running backs.
I don't want any guys to start Daniel Jones, but if you have to, then like the matchup is at least good. Danny will rack up those sweet, meaningless garbage time points. That could happen. That's a good point. Jeff, happy PPR start to Pierce, Madison, Warren, or Spears. Pierce and Madison because they'll get the best volume. The other two guys are handcuffs, but that's about it. Dak or Danny Dimes. I mean, I still go Dak here. The Niners defense is good, but they're not like great. I mean, they're good, but a lot of it comes like they're playing the Cowboys this week. It's a little bit, excuse me, of a better or not as easy of a matchup. I don't know. I mean, their front seven's great. Their secondary plays well when their front seven allows them to create turnovers, but I don't know. I'd probably still go Dak. Higgins or trading for someone else. I would keep Higgins right now, guys. If you sell Higgins right now, you're just selling him so low. Wait till he has a better game. Wait till he's healthy, all that stuff. Yeah, we like Michael Wilson for sure. Full PPR, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, flex, Saquon, Kyron, Ashane, Hall, Lamb, Waddle, Pittman, Flowers. I would start Saquon if healthy and Devon Ashane. As much as I like Kyron, it's a tough matchup this week. And then Hall has a really good matchup, but I think Saquon and Ashane, that's a game we want to exploit, and those guys you just can't sit. You start Lamb. You probably start Waddle against the Giants. I think Waddle can actually get back this week and score.
Maybe.
And
Pittman Flowers have good matchups.
Oh, this is tough. Yeah.
I'm okay with sitting Waddle here.
I am too, actually, because I love Pittman against Tennessee's bad, very bad secondary, and I love Flowers against another bad secondary. So if Waddle scores, so be it, which I think he can. You just can't go wrong here. You can't. All are good options, but
what is the less good? What is the best of the good options?
Yeah, it's tough.
Do you want to double dip on Miami? Because like Achan's a hammer star.
Yeah,
like,
I could see that game like the Dolphins get in a position where they just run the ball, like they get up early. So maybe you sit Waddle. And if he scores, then so be it, because I think the other guy's going to have good games. Watson or Dobbs. I actually have this problem in a league as well. The floor is Dobbs. The upside is Watson. So depends on how you want to go about it. Do I think Waller scores a touchdown this week? No.
Never.
I appreciate it, Emil. I am feeling better. It's probably come through a little bit this stream, but yeah, my whole family was sick. We have a toddler, and it's like I still worked this week, and my work now is fantasy football and editing, and I could not, at the end of the day, I could not bring myself to stream this week. And like last night I thought I was gonna be able to stream, but I was like still like blowing my nose all day and like throat hurt. And I was like, I was gonna be crap if I get on stream. The Giants might not do anything. That's fair. But they might do something.
They might score some points, hopefully.
If you look at the matchup, it is on the season. It's been a good matchup. Do you like Musgrave or Thomas for tight end rest of the season if Waller struggles to continue? I like Musgrave, yeah. And I haven't been a Waller guy going into this year. Thomas, I think, could be interesting too. So yeah, I do like both those guys, and I like Jake Ferguson on the Cowboys if he's still out there. Is Ridley a start this week? If you don't have better options, you can definitely start Ridley. Yeah. If that Giants game gets out of hand, Jones might get benched. I think that the Giants can actually really surprise people this week and keep it competitive to a degree.
If he didn't get benched last week against Seattle when he was gonna die out there, they're not benching him. They're gonna play him till the wheels fall off.
Not the first time this year where like there's been other games where he should have just been pulled from the game, like not even benched, but it's just like this game is over and you're letting your quarterback get like decimated. I mean, yeah. Would you use Tutu as a flex over Gabe Davis? No, I go Gabe Davis. Tutu is going to lose some volume. We'll have to kind of monitor that, but I go Gabe Davis. I mean, Puka and Cup being on the field could open things up for Tutu. I mean, Stafford's liked him in the red zone, but I go Gabe Davis. Nick, me versus the catch. Yeah. So we have one of us has Fields and the other one has DJ Moore. So it's been fun this week so far. Trade Pacheco for Waddle. I mean, you could. I still like Pacheco. I'm a Pacheco guy, but it's a fair trade. Waddle is going to take off at some point. I truly believe that. Dom, Kirk or Watson. I mean, Kirk's the floor play. Watson gives you the upside.
I kind of hate playing guys in London, though.
I don't like London games either.
If you're not on the East Coast, you're waking up and it's like second quarter, the game's 10-0. It's like, what did I miss? Like,
yeah.
Just weird. I hate it.
Yeah. Last week had the perfect script. Drake London scored in London and Calvin Ridley scored against his former team. And it was like almost too obvious.
Way to go, NFL. They're fixing games. We all know that. That's why DJ Moore was out of bounds.
Yeah. Laporta, Dobbs, and Higgins for Brown and Ingram. I would consider this trade. But I really like AJ Brown. Like even when he was playing, I don't want to say poorly, but this wasn't as productive fantasy wise. I still liked him early in the season. But I think this trade's okay.
Yeah, Ingram's not a downgrade from Laporta. Maybe long term it could be, but that's the biggest key to this because we talked about tight ends are just they're a thing.
I'd rather have the confidence of starting AJ Brown right now. But Laporta, Ingram are like really close, but Ingram is just as good. So I'd take Brown over Dobbs and Higgins. So, all right, let's kind of start to wrap up here, guys. Traded Waddle for Debo and Hopkins. Depends on the roster, Mason. I mean, I still like Debo, but you got extra depth, I think, in Hopkins, which is probably okay. So probably fine. Jeff, pick 3, Ridley, Flowers, Wilson, Pickens. Ridley, Flowers, Michael Wilson. Maybe you could go Pickens over Wilson, but I'd probably go Ridley, Flowers, and Wilson. Jags have sneaky upside since they've been in London entire week longer than the Bills. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier. So
this would be so funny if the Jags just lose by 30. And it's like, well, I guess that didn't work. Staying
Yeah.
in London, and maybe the Bills are like the best team in the AFC,
Yeah.
and the Jets game was a fluke. But I think it's gonna be close.
I like an alternate spread on the Jags this week, but
What's the regular spread? Can't be that much.
I want to say it's like plus 3.5.
Ooh, that's a little too close because I do
Yeah.
think the Bills are really, it's down to 1.5.
Oh,
Yikes.
yeah, I would not take that. I would, and probably the odds for 7.5.
No, it's up to 5.5. Excuse me. Why
Oh,
do they
okay.
have this is out of order? This is out of order. Okay, it's up to 5.5. That's
Maybe
doable. That's
yeah.
the Vegas zone.
I like that more than 1. I never like 1.5. I would take 7.5, but the odds for 7.5 are always massively bad.
So slight tangent. If like, so there's been a lot of 1.5 now. Because do you know about the new analytics on going for 2 when you're down 7 or down 6? So like, if you score a touchdown and you cut it to a 6-point game or a 7-point game, and you go for 2 and you make it 6, like Green Bay did against New Orleans, so the touchdown would then win the game. Instead of like the analytics say, don't kick the extra point to make it a touchdown or make it a touchdown on an extra point. Go for 2, and if you miss it, you can still get the 2 on the second try to tie the game. So that's like the big new thing. So we're gonna start seeing like awkward scores now. So I read a whole thing on this.
Yeah, more spreads this year of 1.5, and I just hate that. But I only take the spread so often, anyways. Go Kincaid. Should I drop him for Musgrave? I'd rather have Musgrave. I'd rather have Kincaid and Musgrave than Njoku, though. So you can just drop Njoku. All right. So let's see. Are we sticking with Waller? I mean, if you can pick up Ertz, if you can pick up Musgrave, if you can pick up Logan Thomas, Jake Ferguson, like there's options. Sure, Ray, Thielen, and Dobbs for DK. That's fine. Yeah, that's perfectly fine, Anthony. All right, guys. So we've been going now for about an hour and a half. So we'll go ahead and wrap up for the night. That's where we wanted to stop. So happy birthday, Pete. By the way, Pete's birthday is in less than 30 minutes. So
hour and a half for me.
Oh, that's right.
But I was born on the East Coast, so maybe technically, however that works.
But happy birthday to Pete. Thanks for
joining
us on the eve of your birthday and talking fancy with us tonight, man. But guys, I'm back. I apologize. I do have some family coming in town this week, so I don't know what I'm gonna do next week, but I'll have content out for you guys, I promise. But thank you guys for sticking with me this week and being understanding. It's like every day that went on, I was like, I am like still sick. And by the time it was like time for me to make content and stream and stuff, I was like, I just have no energy to do so. But anyways, guys, I'm back. I will be back on tomorrow night. I will be back on Sunday, one way or another. So appreciate you guys, man. And be sure to hit the like on the way out. Pete, I don't have your channel pulled up, but I'm gonna pull it up.
Don't worry. After the review sports.
I got it right here.
Oh, there we go.
All right, go subscribe to Pete's channel, and that's gonna do it, guys. So if you guys are new, thank you for being here tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Thank you guys for subscribing. Our Discord's down below, free to join. Follow us on Instagram, all that good stuff, and that'll wrap it up. So good luck this week, everyone. But I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, I'm sure. If you guys need anything, hop on Discord in the meantime. And sorry for the lack of content this week, but I'm here, I promise. So, Pete, thanks for joining us. And
as always,
this is what I do when I haven't streamed in like a week and I start doing an outros. I just like talk for like 10 minutes straight and keep going. But all right, that does it for the night. So love you guys, man. Loves community, love the catch, fam. I'll talk to you guys soon. And with that, I will say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, yes, odd here on the catch.